Being told I am Muthuselvi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce with Computer Applications, Drsnsrcas, College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Now I am going to discuss about the topic of uh, subject of banking on practice. Thus we discuss about the meaning of banker and the customer. Generally, customer is the creditor and the banker is the debtor. When the deposits money in the bank and in contrary, when customer takes a loan, banker becomes the creditor and customer becomes debtor. Features of debtor-creditor relationship. The bank and the customer are two different terms that are related to the bank. The person doing the banking business is called a banker, and the person who is connected with the bank, either depositing his money or taking a loan from the bank, is called a bank customer. Definition: the person doing the banking business is called a banker, and the person who is connected with the bank, either depositing his money or taking a loan from the bank, is called a bank customer. Next, relationship. Debtor and creditor relationship. Relationship of a banker. The relationship of banker and the customer is preliminarily that the debtor and the creditor. If the account show a credit balance, the banker will be a debtor and the customer a creditor. The banker is a debtor and the customer is a creditor. General relationship between the banker and the customer. The relationship between the banker and the customer is basically contractual. It is regulated by the general provisions of law of contract. The rules of agency where applicable banking practices. They may be following a relation between the banker and the customer. Debtor and creditor relationship. Relationship of banker and the customer is primarily that the debtor and the creditor. But what is a particular movement depends upon the balance of the account of the customer. If the account shows a credit balance, the banker will be a debtor and the customer a creditor. But in the case of debit balance or overdraft, the banker will be the creditor and the customer the debtor. Uh, Trustee and the beneficiary relationship. The banker assumes the position of a trustee when he accepts securities or valuables from the customer for the safety custody. The articles deposited when the bank for the safety custody continue to be owned by the customer. Next, obligation to honor check. The banker has an obligation to honor checks of its customer drawn on him and presented for payment, subject to the conditions that there are sufficient funds in accounts the checks in order to. Banker is under a duty to pay check drawn on him by a customer, so as long as he has sufficient and available funds and provided the check and or within the limits of an agreed overdraft. If the banker, according to specified statutory provisions, he had claimed protections against the claims of the genuine owner. Conditions of honoring check. If it is said to be honored, if the bank gives amount to pay, while if the bank refuses to honor the check and the payer of the amount to be the payee, the check is to be dishonored. In other words, the honor of check journal entry is a condition in which the bank refuses to pay the amount of the check to the payee. Next, obligation to maintain secrecy of customer account. The obligation of the banker to keep security of his customer account except some circumstances continue after an account is called closed. If it is almost important that the bank ensures all the banking records of the customer are protected and not available to any other party or obligations with the customer's consent. A banker is under statutory obligation to disclose the information related to his customer's account when the law specifically required to him to do so. Section 13 of the Banking Companies Act observe, except otherwise required by the law, the practice and usage customary against bankers in particular not to any information relating to the affairs of the banker. Thank you.